I understand that this afternoon the chairman of the Post Office, Henry Staunton, is on the verge of being forced out of the job amid frustration in the government over the state-owned company's corporate governance. This, of course, comes in the wake of the latest revelations about the cover-up relating to the Horizon IT scandal. And I understand that Kemi Badenoch, the business secretary, has lost patience with the board of the Post Office and so has decided that Henry Staunton, who's only been in the job for just over a year, should be replaced. Now, there are a number of reasons for the growing tensions in recent weeks between Mr. Staunton and the government, one of which involved Mr. Staunton's desire to appoint a new board member at the Post Office. I should point out that Mr. Staunton's likely departure doesn't directly relate to the Horizon scandal itself. I think we should get confirmation in the next few hours that Mr. Staunton is going to step down, but at the moment the Department for Business is not commenting on the decision to replace him. Now, just to be clear, the Post Office is 100% owned by the government, and the shareholding in the Post Office is managed by an organisation called UK Government Investments. And of course, in recent weeks, we've heard more horrific stories about the suffering of sub-postmasters who were wrongly convicted because of that flawed Fujitsu software and the Post Office's attempts to cover up those failings. This decision to replace the company's chairman, just the latest manifestation of where the government thinks that the corporate governance and the leadership of the Post Office has been going wrong.
Yeah, just reading a little bit more about Henry Staunton, appointed September 2020 by the then Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng. Previous to that, he was chairman of W.H. Smith's for some 9 years. I mean, he would be one of the first major significant figures potentially to go after this fallout, which has dominated headlines of late, hasn't it, Mark? I mean, just for the benefit of our viewers, just remind us of the context of this story in terms of what some people are describing as the biggest miscarriage of justice the UK's ever seen. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, a truly horrific story where hundreds of sub-postmasters were wrongly convicted of stealing money from their post office branches. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, earlier this month, pledged to introduce new laws that would exonerate and compensate those who were affected. Of course, sadly, a very significant number have died or have seen their lives fall apart as a result of their wrongful convictions. And the government has been saying in recent weeks that it wants to get a grip of the compensation issue. That compensation bill is likely to reach well over £1 billion. And Kemi Badenoch, the business secretary, has told Fujitsu, the Japanese software company that provided the failed Horizon system, that it wants them to contribute to that compensation bill. Now, those talks have yet to take place. It's not clear how much Fujitsu will pay towards that compensation bill. But again, that's another strand of this sorry story that we will hear more about in the coming weeks. Yeah, just to remind again of our viewers, Paula Venables, who was the chief executive of the Post Office, resigned because of this back in 2019. Of course, you remember that she gave up voluntarily her CBE at the beginning of this year. This all, of course, very much in the public frame because of that very popular ITV drama that's certainly piqued the interest of most people in this country, Mark. And give us a sense as well about the financial footing of the Post Office, because, I mean, we heard from Ofcom, didn't we, this week as well, about, going forward, the delivery potentially may stop on a Saturday. We know that the Post Office potentially isn't in the best of financial shape, and this is not going to help, is it? No, the Post Office is entirely reliant on the government for its financial support. I mean, just to be clear about Royal Mail, they are now separate companies, Royal Mail and the Post Office. Royal Mail was privatised about 10 years ago by the then coalition government, so it's not directly related to the Post Office. But the Post Office is also struggling because of greater competition and the inexorable rise of internet shopping. So there's a challenge for the Post Office's finances anyway, leaving aside this compensation bill that it's asked the government to step in and pay for. And you're absolutely right about Paula Venables, the former CEO. She, for many years, denied that the Post Office was at fault for the Horizon issues, and indeed that there were any problems with Horizon. Eventually she stepped down. She also stepped down from the other corporate boards on which she sat, but it was only, as you say, a couple of weeks ago that she eventually gave up her CBE, and only then, after Rishi Sunak had said that he would support an examination of that CBE by the Honours Forfeiture Committee.